I'm the Jolly Saver, and today I thought I'd do a bit of a catch-up style video. So I thought, it's a Sunday, there's a few different topics that I'd like to discuss that don't necessarily fit into any of my regular update videos. So yeah, I've just pressed record, I've got a few topics noted down, and yeah, I'll go through them. So yeah, just in general, my week's been quite good this week, been quite busy. I've posted a few YouTube videos. So I had one on whether I should be overpaying or investing, and another one which was my financial freedom update for month 11. I've had some really interesting feedback on both of those, and it's funny how some things work where you've got something in your mind that's a topic that you're thinking about, and then something happens in your life that helps you make a decision about what you should do. So one of the topics that I had, which was covered in my video, was about what to do with spare money kind of over the next few months or years. So it was whether I should ramp up overpay my mortgage again, or whether I should be thinking about building up my savings and my investments and be more focused on that. And today my neighbour let me know that there's a bit of a leak coming in their property from our property, and there was a bit of investigation this morning about what's happening, and it turns out that my back door needs to be looked at. So it may be that I need to replace my back door or get something fixed on it. So I'm gonna have to ring around this week to get that sorted. So it was one of those things where actually at the moment I've only got about £1,500 in an emergency fund, which will hopefully cover whatever needs to be doing, because it's not going to be that expensive. But just that thought about needing easy access money to pay for these things that naturally crop up was really reaffirming for me about what my decision should be. So really, I should be prioritizing, a house maintenance sort of fund and an emergency fund, just easily accessible money that I can use for things like that. And then me and my partner got talking about, bits around the flat that we need to spend some money on. And the things that in my head, I think, I don't really want to be spending money on, non-urgent things in the property. This sort of leak thing aside, the other things we're thinking of getting done are nice to haves but not need to haves. But at the same time, I know that getting them done will have a really massive impact on how we feel about our property and that sort of thing. So we really should be prioritizing them. So it's one of those things that's cropped up where it's just helped me understand again what my values are. And I think one of the things that I really struggle with is being mortgage free has always been a goal of mine that feels like I've made it financially when I'm mortgage free. But there's a realistic and a rational perspective where I think if there's a scenario where I'm mortgage free, but I've got if I'm asset rich, so I've got a fully paid off property, but we are cash poor because we don't have any savings, then probably my standard of living won't be very good, because I'll still be worried about maybe standard of living's the wrong word, maybe kind of mental wellness about finances won't have improved, because I'll still be worrying about what happens if there's an unexpected bill and things like that. So even though I've got this core belief, which I don't know, I think it's probably from parents, that mortgage freedom is the thing to aim for, and that's how you've made it financially. Maybe I need to think more in the terms of actually making it financially is us having a fully funded emergency fund, say a year's worth of necessary expenses, and having money in the bank that if we needed to give up our jobs for a year, we could do. Because realistically, and I mentioned this quite a lot, our mortgage is only £500 a month, so that's £250 each. So being mortgage free mentally might give us an improvement in life. However, financially, it would just put £250 extra in our pocket. So yeah, it's one of these things that I think my opinions on and my thoughts on just evolves over time. I think what I'm learning is that thoughts and feelings towards money are constantly evolving, um, uh, and I just need to always check in with myself to see how I feel about certain things. So that's the money side of things. Other things I was going to catch up on was, I've still been reading lots of books. So if you follow us on Instagram, you'll know that I post book reviews when I remember to. One of the books that I've read recently was called Day One by Abigail Dean. So I think it's on W.H. Smith's books. Pardon me. The book lists. I think it's a book club. I can't remember what you call it, but you've probably seen posters about it. I have anyway. So I read that, and that was, I really enjoyed it. It was about this. It's set in the UK, and it's about this event. I won't spoil it. This thing that happens in a school, and it's quite life changing, and it's following the follow up to that event, and also conspiracy theorists and how they really are quite destructive, I guess, to these people who are trying to recover from this event. So it was quite a suspensey book, but I loved the style of writing, and the characters really were built up. And I think, I was talking to my partner about this. When I read books, I'm really about that character development, and I'm really about, you start reading a book and you have one opinion about a character, and then as the book progresses, you change your opinion, because a few hundred pages in, you normally have a pretty good sense of the flaws in the character, or the redeeming features that they have. So that was really good. The other book I've read, which was also set in the UK, and was brilliant, was called Last One at the Party. Now, this one was about, it sounds quite serious, but it's not. It's like a dark humor sort of book. So it was about a infection that spreads through the world, and then there's this one woman in the UK who's the last woman, I should believe she's the last woman on Earth, and it's about how she navigates life in this new world. And it's so, like, the writing is amazing, and it's so comic, and just like, I just love those sort of books where you really, the humor is just spot on, and you just find yourself laughing. So that was a really brilliant book. So I've read 16 books so far this year. I'm hoping to have read 24 by the end of the year. I'm currently reading a book of short stories by the same author as Convenience Store Woman, and it's a bit bonkers at the moment, but I'm enjoying that because I needed a bit of light relief after a few serious books, because even though the Last One at the Party was comic, it still had quite serious subject matter. And then the next book that's on my to-read list is called Run by Blake Crouch. So Blake Crouch is my favourite author. He does sci-fi books. He's written Dark Matter, which is currently an Apple TV series. And this is a re-release of a self-published book that he published, I don't know, 15 years ago, but it's now been published mainstream in the UK and also the US. So I am reading that. I will be reading that. So his style of writing is just amazing. It's very, it is sci-fi, but it's very thriller-esque, and that character development is always there. So that's good. Other things, I've got, so in terms of this YouTube channel, this is a bit, it's a hobby for me, and I really enjoy doing it. I have done a podcast series, and I think the last one I did was maybe in the summer, at some point. So I chatted with Saving for a New Way from Instagram, and she told her story about becoming mortgage free, which is really good and inspiring. And I've got a podcast set up for November with someone on Instagram who used to work in the education sector as I think he was a head teacher, and now he's had a career shift and he's becoming a financial advisor or planner. So I'm going to be talking to him all about that transition and what prompted him to make that move and all those things. So I'm looking forward to that, because I think one of the things I like with that one is it really puts me out of my comfort zone, because I have to meet people via Zoom. I have to be put on the spot with not put on the spot because I prepare questions, but it's really testing my reactive response, because I ask follow-up questions based on what they say and things like that. And I think it's good to put myself out of my comfort zone, because it helps me in my work life to do things like that. I've also got my blog on thejordysaver.co.uk. Now, that's something that it's funny sometimes with motivation, because I really want to practice my writing skills, but I find it really hard to motivate myself to write this blog. And I don't know if that's telling us that maybe I'm not. If I'm finding it hard to motivate myself to do it, does that just mean that I'm not it's not that I'm not a writer, but maybe that's not really my passion project I should be pursuing. Whereas I don't really have to motivate myself in the same way to make a YouTube video updating on things, because that never feels like a chore. It always feels like a stress reliever, talking about finance, or doing these videos where I'm doing a bit more longer form and catching up. So I'm trying to work out. I mean, I need to probably set myself a bit of a challenge to see, if I spend a month, regularly writing articles about my personal finance or financial topics, whether it still feels like a chore or not. But I haven't decided. I mean, I bought the domain name and it's there, but it's not that I regret buying it, but it was a bit of an impulse one where I thought, I'll buy it and I'll buy the all the add-ons with it. So anyways, they've got this nice professional looking web page, but I haven't really got much added to it. So I've got a link to some free resources and a few blog posts that I wrote earlier this year. But it still feels a bit like I haven't really put lots of effort into it. So that's that, and I'm just trying to think what else I can do for this channel. It's quite an interesting one, because I've talked about it before. I did a video maybe a month ago saying how this YouTube channel has been a real passion project, and it's helped me in terms of having a commitment to myself that I'll make videos every month. And I think one of the biggest things is that it's quite a small audience I've built up, and that is interesting in that I suppose a lot of people you see on YouTube who are still doing it after 2 years have normally built up quite an audience, where I quite appreciate the small audience I have built up, but it gets us wondering how people build up audiences, whether that be on Instagram or YouTube, or people who, I see people, and I still never know if it's true or not, who make thousands of pounds a month from blogging, and I'm like, and then, I just get confused to see, like, is that true, or are you telling fibs because it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy? If you say that you're a blogger who makes money, do people then go on your blog because they think other people are reading it? I don't know. But it's funny with why I'm saying this is because I created that web page because I thought, if I put effort in the right one, maybe there's something that'll, as well as me being a creative hobby, it'll make some money, because and that can help towards my financial goals. But I'm sort of wondering if that's not really the path that I'm meant to be on. Having this as a hobby and having everything be free for readers or viewers or whatever. Maybe that's more the path. So sorry, I'm rambling a bit, but I thought, I'll take the opportunity to do a long form video and just ramble about these topics, and then maybe there's something that'll pique people's interest, and they can put some comments down below. So aside from this kind of channel, other hobbies I've been getting involved with, I joined a creative writing group and I've been writing short stories. That's been good. It's been, again, out of my comfort zone, but I think what I've realised is when I was a child, I used to be very creative in terms of creative writing and all these sort of, I don't know, the things I was interested in. I think if you asked me when I was 4 year old what I wanted to be, I would have said an author, because I love reading and I loved writing stories and that sort of thing. And then I think the older I've gotten, the less creative I've been. And I don't know if it's just because, day-to-day life happens and you don't take the time out to pursue these creative hobbies. So anyways, there was a course near me and I did it and I really enjoyed it. And then I'm now part of this creative writing group where we meet once a month. And I've just been writing short stories, and it's quite nice. But again, it's just making the time. But I've been enjoying that. Another thing I've been trying to do is to get 10,000 steps a day. And I think one of the things that's helped with that is that I have a challenge with some members of my family, and we've got a WhatsApp group, and at the end of each day we post how many steps we've done. So it keeps us all on track and motivated. So yeah, that's good. Another thing I'm doing is trying to lose some weight and be more fit. So I think one of the things I noticed, because I sit down a lot for work, is it's quite easy not to do any exercise in the day. So last week, so this is a new kind of routine I'm trying. So last week I went to the gym 3 times in the week, and I did a mix of cardio and then some kind of dumbbells, so like weights. And I think it's quite, for me to think about my fitness, I think sometimes it's quite easy to think, I'm going to spend lots of money on trying to get a personal trainer to try and get me there. But actually, if I'm going from doing minimal to doing something, that's probably going to have a significant effect. And my gym membership costs me £20 a month at the moment, so it's quite low in terms of expenses. And I don't really want to jump into having a personal trainer because they'll probably be able to help. But at the same time, I think I should only go for a personal trainer when I've made that commitment of going to the gym. So 3 mornings a week, I'm up at 6 o'clock and out the door at the gym. But I've been enjoying it. I'm hoping that this week, well, I'm not hoping because I will do it. I'm going to do it 3 mornings this week as well. And I'd love it if by Christmas I could have lost maybe a stone in weight. I'm just going to take a sip of water. But it's just about keeping the motivation, or keeping the discipline, I should say. So not thinking about being motivated and just doing it anyways. And then one of the other things I'm trying to break the habit of, or I am at least, is I love soft drinks. So I find it, so I gave up Diet Coke in March, so the 1st of March of this year. So it's been over 6 months and I haven't had a Diet Coke or a Pepsi Max or anything like that, which I'm really proud of. But I have still been having soft drinks. Like, I never have sugary soft drinks, but I've had, I would have diet soft drinks. And I think the problem with them is, so even if they've got no sugar in, I still don't like the fact of having, it sounds dramatic, but like these chemicals in my body, like through the soft drinks every day. Like, they're not really hydrating. They're just like, they're a bit of a bad habit that I like. I mean, I know you can have worse bad habits, but another thing is, I was getting into the habit of having a soft drink and a packet of Maltesers or some chocolate, buying it from the workshop the shop at work every single day or every other day at work. So I mean that's bad on two fronts. So one is it's not really bad, not really good for a diet if I'm trying to lose weight if I'm having chocolate. And the other reason was it's not very good for my wallet either. If like every day I'm spending maybe £3 on these things, and I find that I do it. It's like an emotional. I would never have classed myself as a bit of an emotional eater, but then I realised that if I'm having a bit of a stressful morning at work, I'll really want a chocolate with a soft drink, like a Fanta Zero and a little bar of Galaxy and a Maltesers. But the problem is that I'm never satisfied. So like some days I find myself getting 2 little bars of chocolate with my drink, which is just, it just seems insane. It just seems insane to me that I can fall down that slope. So I'm trying to only have soft drinks when I'm out, like having a meal in a restaurant. And so far I've kept to that, which is good. And then the other thing is I've limited my sweet treats, so I don't have any biscuits or anything at home. And I try and I don't have anything like that at work. So I'm trying to limit my trips to the work canteen. And it's really just so I can stay focused and feel a bit healthier and lose some weight. But the discipline to kind of stop myself from doing those things is hard. I'll definitely admit that. And yeah, and then another thing I've been doing this for a while, is trying to limit my screen time. So actually I had about, in September, and maybe August and September, I was really good in terms of I dumbed down my iPhone, so I don't have any Instagram, Facebook apps, and I hid the Safari app so I couldn't go on it. And that was really good for my screen time, and I actually read a lot more books in September. And then somehow gradually I've added back on the Safari, and now I found myself going on the internet quite a bit, so I may need to just take that back away and only go on it when needed, because there are times when I'm out where I might need, if something's got a QR code and I need to scan it, then I'll need to be on the internet. But I found myself just browsing and scrolling, so I need to try and reduce that a bit. And then the final thing is just about trying to be a bit present more. So the screen time challenge is good for that. Sorry, I've got a cough. But the other thing to mention is, I don't know if other people find this who are interested in personal finance, but a lot of personal finance thinking is thinking of the future. But actually, I kind of struggle thinking that, today is important too. So even regardless of how, I don't want to just sacrifice lots of things today for tomorrow. I need to have that balance. So I'm trying to be a bit more present and a bit more enjoying the moment rather than thinking of the future and my future goals. And now I'm going to have a coughing fit, so I think that's my cue to stop the video. So yeah, if you've got the end of this video, do let me know in the comments down below, and let me know your thoughts. Let me know how your week's been, and I'll see you on the next video.